Hello, it's Alex, the Bookubus. So my birthday is coming up very soon on the 29th of March, and I'm going to be turning 40 this year, so quite the milestone. So I thought to mark the occasion I would put together a little list of some horror book and film recommendations from the year I was born, 1981. So I have 5 books and 5 films to shout out, and I'll start off with the books. And when putting this list together, turns out I haven't actually read that many horror books from 1981, so this list kind of wrote itself, but they're all still books that I have enjoyed and would recommend. First up is They Thirst by Robert R. McCammon. This is a vampire novel set in Los Angeles, and we follow several different characters as vampires descend on the city and try to take it over. While not my favourite vampire story ever, it did still have its moments that I liked, and yeah, who can argue with this cover, really? Next is Disturb Not the Dream by Paula Trachtman. This is one that when I read it and reviewed it, I described it as VC Andrews on crack, and I stand by that description. This one is a kind of gothic family drama where everyone has a secret and there's a dark history that is revealed. This one I remember had quite a lot of sexual content in it, including incest, because it was the 80s. This one is a fun read and it had a really great ending. Next is Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. Is this horror? Is it a thriller? That's probably another conversation entirely, but it came out in 1981, so I'm including it here. This one follows an FBI agent on the hunt of a serial killer called the Tooth Fairy, and this one also includes the character Hannibal Lecter, who is maybe more famous for the Silence of the Lambs film adaptation. But yeah, this is his first appearance, and yeah, this is a really good crime horror thriller, and there are some pretty dark and gruesome things that go on here, so yeah, it's a classic for a reason. Next is The Elementals by Michael McDowell. This is a southern gothic about 2 families, and after the death of one of the family members, they decide to take a trip and spend some time away at their holiday homes, which are right on the coast. And there are 3 buildings that are right next to each other, 2 of them owned by the families and one which has been unoccupied for some time and has slowly been filling with sand. And during the time the family members spend here, some creepy things unfold, and yeah, I don't want to say too much about this one and give away the direction the story goes, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really effective and yeah, definitely worth checking out. And last but not least is Pin by Andrew Niederman. This is about a brother and sister who had a bit of a strange upbringing. Their father was a doctor and would educate them through an anatomical model of the human body. They nicknamed him Pin, and now the brother and sister are grown up and their parents died in an accident, but the brother and sister continue to talk to Pin. And yeah, this one is a dark and unsettling story. There is incest here as well, because man, there was just a lot of incest in the 80s apparently. This is a great read though. It has a really good psychological horror element to it, and yeah, there's one scene in particular that I am unlikely to forget anytime soon. So yeah, if you're looking for something unique and just a bit weird, then definitely pick this one up. Okay, and moving on to some horror films. So this list was actually a little bit more difficult to put together because there are a lot of great horror films that came out in 1981, so I had a difficult task in narrowing it down. But anyway, here are 5 that I would recommend. First up is Possession, directed by Andrzej Zulawski. This one is your art house end of horror. and it stars Isabel Adjani and Sam Neill. They both put in amazing performances here. They play a married couple whose relationship is breaking down and she wants a divorce, and it follows, the breakdown of their relationship, and this is a mix of psychological horror and some other things that I won't go into because I wouldn't want to spoil it if you haven't seen this one. This film is definitely an experience, and I think it's quite unlike anything else, so highly recommend if you haven't checked this one out yet. Next is The Burning, directed by Tony Maylam. This is your classic summer camp slasher in the vein of Friday the 13th, and follows a character who is on a trail of revenge against the summer camp counsellors. So yeah, it's just got all you would want from a good slasher movie. This one has a really good grimy feel to it, which I really like, and it has effects from Tom Savini, so they're all awesome. Yeah, it's a classic. Next is Scanners, directed by David Cronenberg. This is about a group of people who have telepathic and telekinetic powers. They're called scanners, and some of them take their powers a bit too far. This one includes the notorious exploding head scene, so well worth checking out for that alone, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a really awesome film anyway. Not my favourite Cronenberg film, that is Videodrome, but this one is also up there. Next is Ms. 45, directed by Abel Ferrara. He is probably more famous or infamous for directing the Video Nasty Driller Killer. This is a rape revenge film following a mute woman who is attacked and raped, and basically she's had enough and she decides to go a bit #YesAllMen and stalks the streets of New York City, taking out any dudes that dare cross her path. This one is more at your sleazy exploitation end of horror, and it's one that I think is really awesome, but I don't hear too many people talk about, and it features an absolutely amazing climax at a Halloween party. So yes, definitely recommend this one. And last for the horror films, I thought I would end on a birthday themed one. This is Allisons Birthday, directed by Ian Coughlin. This is about a teenage girl who finds out that her family is actually a coven of witches and has some plans for her upcoming 19th birthday. This is another really underrated one that I really enjoy and think more people should check out. It starts off with a seance, and it's got witchcraft and occult elements to the story. If you liked Hereditary but you haven't seen this one, then I would recommend checking this one out, because I can only imagine that Ari Aster got some inspiration from this film. So that was just a handful of 1981 horror recommendations. Let me know if you've read or seen any of these. I'd love to hear what you thought. Let me know if there are any other books and films from this year that you particularly enjoyed. Also, are there any other March babies in the house? Let me know if you had a birthday recently or have one coming up soon. I know Nikki at Dark Between Pages and Erin at Erin Megan both recently celebrated their birthdays, so big happy birthdays to them. And if you're not already subscribed to their channels, then definitely go do so. They're both absolutely awesome. I will leave links to their channels below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!